blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have...
So usually what I had been doing previously is putting the person backstage and then bringing them on. I was like, you know what, forget that.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everyone for tuning in, if not live, later on, and watching the new episode of Secular Activism Unfiltered. I am your guest, Kelly, better known as the Detroit Atheist Queen. And today I have a very special guest, and we are united as Michiganders. I'm really happy and proud when I have another Michigan is connected in this community, whatever. So tell everybody who you are, and we can go from there.
Hey, I'm Skeptical Scott. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And, you know, it's a thing, okay? We like hold up our mitten to show where we're from, you know? So, you know, Kelly's over here. Wait. See, I'm already got it backwards. I got it backwards. Yes. I'm over here. I'm over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we're about a little over 2 hours from each other.
Yeah. So it ain't really too far. I used to have a cousin. Cousins that stayed in Muskegon.
Oh yeah.
So,
I was in Muskegon Heights actually just 2 days ago.
Muskegon Heights is the hood.
Oh, I know.
So just know that. People don't know, but it's the hood. Oh yeah, that's where I hung out at.
Anyway, hi everybody. And so my website is skepticalscott.com. I host a podcast called Skeptical Scott and Friends, which Kelly, you're going to hear her in March. I already know that because we already did the episode.
Yes, that was a very interesting conversation we had.
But I'm so glad to be here with you. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Here's a couple more things. I'll just say really quick.
Okay.
My wife and I have been married for 25 years. I have a son. Who he's a college student at Ferris State University in Big Rapids, Michigan.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations.
I have a dog. And you know what we did yesterday on Valentine's Day? We went to go look for maybe another dog. So we may be adding to our family.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So, the first question I like to ask my guests was, were you ever religious?
I'm going to say the real answer, I guess, is yes. I say kind of no too, because my family was not religious growing up, or at least when they were. You know, my twin brother and I, we were number 4 and 5.
Oh,
and by the time we came along, I mean, we were baptized, but they were on their way out of religion themselves. You know what I mean? So I didn't really grow up with it in our household, but all of our friends, it seemed, were religious. So we spent a lot of time at other people's churches, is how I would see it. So can I pin it down to what I believed? Probably not. I mean, I looked around and saw a lot of Christians, so I've assumed I must be some kind of Christian. And then, when you read in the Bible that you can't be lukewarm, you got to make a decision, right? So
Yeah.
I
Can't
did
be
sing in a
lukewarm.
Catholic church choir for a few years.
Okay.
And then I spent a lot of time, like there was like a mega church near us.
Yeah.
There was a Reformed church that I spent a lot of time in. And then there was another family I grew up with closely, and we were at their house a lot on Sundays. So the whole family prayer, all that kind of stuff, that was big in their household. And so we were a part of it.
Funny you talked about the choir. So I've mentioned that I did go to Catholic school, but at home we were Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
But they end up so our Catholic school, the church, end up hiring a guy who formerly was from the Baptist church choir. So you should have seen when we did it. He was part of the kids' church. We had, so they was not expecting. They're like, oh, Catholic people.
Yeah, Catholic church choir is a little different, right?
Now, yeah, it's different from Baptist and Catholic, totally different. So we came and we had the tambourines and we was, yeah, and it's weird. Some of the people were sitting there, but some people was
like, what is this?
What is going on? Like this is bad. This is sinful. They're doing. They did not understand. But I can see, even as a kid, I could see how funny that was.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm just gonna go back to that question. Were you religious? Kinda. And I will say this though, I figured there must be something wrong with me because I'm not getting it. Like everybody else seems to really be feeling this stuff. So I'm gonna keep trying to find whatever is they're finding. So I was a truth seeker. I'll say I was a seeker. Let's put it that way. I was a seeker and I was really trying to get into this thing.
Many people don't want to admit, but they have questions too, because I did as well. But I'm like, well, this is what my mom is telling me, so it must be true. Mm-hmm. But I had doubts, even as a child myself. I just didn't act on the doubts, and I just thought that maybe, it was me. The same thing you thinking.
We had doubts about ourselves too.
Yeah.
So
it
must be me. I'm not getting it. Yeah. So that's a little. Yeah. And then I'll just skip ahead for a little short minute. I did get serious on religion. It was just more like my mid-20s to early 30s. I was like, okay, it's time. I'm a husband now, right? I'm the leader of the family, right? I've got to be an important spiritual leader for my son. Otherwise, it's all on me, right? So I got to get serious. So there was a good several years there that I'm like, all right, I'm diving in. I'm going to go serious here. So I gave it a real try. I don't want to hear anybody say you were never a Christian.
Yeah. So so you said about 23. That's when he was like, I'm about to, and I have heard reverse stories where people, I got a friend who was raised atheist, mm-hmm. but then they ended up becoming Christian, but then realizing, oh, oops, and become atheist again. They realized that their dad was right with what he was telling them, but they was trying to, but that's what they, indoctrination and being in a relationship with somebody or things like that. You kind of
you start involving other families and their backgrounds, and you feel like you gotta be you, but also be respectful or whatever of other beliefs and stuff. So yeah.
So can't really say you deconstructed, but was there anything that even when you made the switch to become for atheist, how did that come to be? Like, what made you decide to be more consider yourself actual non-believer, an actual atheist.
Yeah. I think you know, in my podcast, season 1 and season 2, like season 1 of Skeptical Scott and Friends, you kind of hear the mile markers in childhood of this seems important, but I don't get it. So, for example, when I was on a quiz show, the Sunday school, they have a quiz show.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, go up to the front for your team and we're going to ask you questions. And if you get the answer right, you get a point for your team. Right?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the question I got? I'm at my friend's church. I got the question, true or false? Mary was a virgin. Now, number one, I'm like,
I'm
it's so weird to be asking a kid, right? It's so weird to be.
5.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say it was middle school probably.
Oh, okay.
But still, that's a weird question, right? And so my brain's going, well, shoot, she couldn't have been a virgin. She's pregnant, right? Like that's what my brain's doing. And finally, she's like, what's your answer? I'm like, false. And I was like put in the corner.
Oh,
like
no.
You're trying to play around here. But I was in my brain, I was like, no, I'm serious, right? Like how else could it be, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
So that's like, I remember that distinct moment, not just because I was embarrassed, but also because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And so season 1 of my show is kind of like those moments where I like did a double take. Season 2 was okay when I dive in deep, but then also when I start going, I don't think I believe this. Right. And so to answer your question of what did that look like, and why not call it deconstruction? I know some people don't like that word or whatever, but I think that's what it was for me. I'm looking at these things that I learned as a kid and I'm looking at them again and I'm going, doesn't make sense. Doesn't add up,
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, it's even if you did live in that non-religious, it's things you even now in my life as a full-blown atheist, there's things I might deconstruct in my life that I don't want to do anymore, and how I got out of that, because there's certain things that even in this space, and don't think that's because you're an atheist, you're not going to get rid of some of your belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
Some people still have thought process they had when they was in a religious. They just not believing in God anymore. It's the only thing different between them and how they were in the past.
Yeah, you made me think just now that word deconstruct is for all kinds of things, not just
exactly.
Religion. Yeah, it's let's look at what I just said, or let's look at what I've been in my brain thinking. And Kelly, what I've never talked before on any show before is mental health.
Yes.
And if I'm real here, it's that I think part of the reason why people search for something might be related to I'm not good enough. I don't get it enough. I'm looking for meaning and purpose. And maybe back then I could definitely say I had anxiety, I had depression. So I am looking for help.
Exactly.
Right. And
many
so
times the church is where you went.
Yeah. That I wasn't like seeing a therapist or anything like that, but it seems that this holy place is where people go to get help. So that must be where I have to go. Right. So I've only really started kind of thinking through that in the last couple of months. I'm like, there's definitely some truth to the whole, it doesn't cost me to see it. It shouldn't be a therapist at a church. That's not what it is, right? But I think a lot of people run there going, I need help. Even if it's not appropriate help.
And it's
I need help.
Sad thing, and I don't really want to go, this is your interview and things like that. But
no, it's good.
I am going to touch base with the mental health, and I'm not ashamed no longer to say that I do deal with bipolar and anxiety as well. That's one reason why it took me so long to get publicly into this space, but everybody has made me feel so comfortable, so it kind of eases that away. But when you deal with mental health, many people don't realize what it is, and if it's somebody that has a drug addiction, you can most of the time label it they must also have some kind of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of those people where I would use prescription drugs to try to feel better. It didn't help, to
To
say
numb
that,
it, to
numb it, make me feel better. And so they called it dual diagnosis, where I got to get treated for mental health and for substance abuse. And the sad thing is that the only thing that they always would send you to is what? AANA and stuff like that. Now, when I first started doing these programs, I wasn't very religious. But I remember with some people that weren't religious that was like, well, what can we do? Because they trying to bring God. So you bring one addiction to this God addiction. And
yeah.
so I no longer deal with any kind of I'll be honest, I just take my medicine. I haven't been to constant in a long time either. Don't tell nobody. But
I won't tell anybody.
yeah, there's
Nobody
people
here will
watching.
either.
There's
Nobody
the
here
people
will.
watching. Don't tell nobody people watching.
No, but
But
Kelly,
yeah.
I'm glad you're kind of saying this though, because and I don't see anybody currently either, but I have maybe 3 years ago. I remember I kind of went back for a tune up, right? But it, going to church actually, I think delayed solutions for me.
Yeah. Pray
Like
about
I
it.
think me deconstructing and leaving religion coincided with me getting more clarity and confidence and like breathing again and being like one saying I have is that the world, this thing we call life, is challenging and beautiful enough without adding a bunch of supernatural crap to it as well. Like it's already complicated. Do I need to also add things I can't see and intentions that those invisible angels and demons have as well, that I'm trying to figure myself out, let alone what they're trying to think and do and what God's saying, and
Yeah.
and so
I don't know if you
I
ever
just
heard of
life's
the Godless Gospel.
say again.
It's it's a gospel group. It's called the Gospel Godless Gospel. Man, Dee and Cynthia are part of it. And there's
I
a
love it.
song called the Natural World.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I've heard.
Yes.
I want to say I've heard. Is that the same one that's like part of Freedom from Religion, or is that a different
Yep.
one? Yeah,
Yep.
I've
Same
heard
one.
it
Yep.
on there. Yeah,
Yep.
I had to look up that specific song.
It's called The Natural World. Mandisa is the leader of that song. But yeah, it stopped out. I don't need no speech. I don't need no supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
So it's here. And that's exactly right.
So I want natural solutions and natural steps to take, and not other stuff. So
Now,
anyway,
okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying I'll say in the last few months, I've really come to that conclusion about how mental health and deconstruction can hand in hand go together, I guess.
Yeah.
And when I see, and I have seen a couple of therapists, they're secular, and I'm really happy that they are.
Yeah,
by chance, by the way, by chance they were secular.
Yeah, we do have the secular project, which my mind is blank right now because he's also does RFR. Steve's a part of. I cannot think of his name right now.
Secular Therapy Project. That sounds something like that.
Think of what. Hold on.
That's all right.
You finish talking. I'm trying to think,
Sure.
and my mind is blank right now. And everybody knows this person, so why don't I know who?
So
he is?
you look it up, and I'll just talk a little bit. That sound good?
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm going to be fine with that. Seriously.
Okay.
Y'all, when I think about, I know I kind of like fast forwarded to the end where I am today, feeling like better and all of that good stuff. But man, it was a long, long time. It took years and years to really get there. And that's what the Skeptical Scott and Friends is about. So deconstruction and breathe, I guess.
Dura-Ray. It kicked in my head.
Good. Say it again.
Dura-Ray.
Okay.
What is wrong with me? It took me a few seconds, but I was able to figure it out.
See, and that's the ultimate question. What is wrong with me? See, that's what we've been talking about, right? It must be us. We don't get it, Kelly, right? But, clarity, there's something refreshing about clarity too. you know. So if you don't mind, let's kind of talk about like that when I got really religious.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
What of faith?
Say again.
What of faith were you deciding? Did you
Okay.
venture off
Yeah.
to? Is your speaker acting up again?
So 25. No, I'm good.
Okay.
25 years ago, we go to this thing called premarital counseling, right?
Okay.
Premarital counseling. That was through my wife's church on the other side of the state, near, if you know where Flint and Fenton are.
Yeah, I mean, we have people in my group that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where we went, and I remember thinking even then, okay,
why that far?
Just that's where she grew up.
Oh, okay. I got
That's where she grew up, and then we're like, I guess we should do this premarital thing, and we're gonna ask him to marry us, right?
Okay. I got
so
you.
It seems like we should probably do this, right? Because that's what people do.
Yeah.
So I can't remember how many sessions it was, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. But that's when I was like, okay, I've got to be serious now, because that's what you're supposed to do. So we went to a couple churches, but we settled on a Methodist church, mostly around here in Grand Rapids, and became members and all the things. So when I say we got serious, I mean, I'm doing daily devotionals, because that's what you do, right?
Yeah, you got to.
Yep. And so I'm doing the daily devotionals. I'm volunteering to help with kids. I'm volunteering to serve. I'm singing. I'm in choirs again. I going to men's retreats. And let me tell you something. Going to a camp somewhere with a bunch of men, like, we got to be, let's come on. We're men, right? When we have to, lead this fight, this spiritual warfare stuff, which I had never grown up with the spiritual warfare stuff, like being taken seriously, that we have to like pray out loud and combat demons, and like that was a different world. But that's what I mean by I'm doing all the things seriously for several years, thinking, okay, I'm making progress here.
Yeah.
So I definitely dove in. And, when you adopt your child from a place called Bethany Christian Services.
Oh, yeah.
Where the family picked you because you're a Christian family. I'm like, I better get serious about this stuff.
Yes. Better. Better. I know they haven't tried to take your son back, have they?
No, but that was a fear, though, right? That was a fear of, hey, what if they change their mind? Because it all became a part of it. So when this was probably a little over 10 years ago now, internally, I finally said to myself, pretty sure this is horseshit. I'm pretty sure this is horseshit. But I got our birth family. So we have an open adoption with my son and his parents and their grandparents. And so when you've got that aspect, you got my wife's side of the family, also religious. I won't say they're hyper religious or anything, but definitely religious. Some of them are. Some of them are. But so then it's like, well, I can't just put myself out there. I can't put myself out there as somebody who no longer believes this stuff. And to be honest, I wasn't sure I wanted to tell my wife either. Because I'm like, hey, what if she realizes I'm not the person she married and that I don't believe this stuff?
And how did that end up?
Actually, really well. We're still married. We're still married. Yeah. She's been very supportive and all of that, which has been great. But yeah, there's been definitely some family relationships that as a result are not as close. Definitely some friendships and work friendships too that have just I don't have those relationships anymore. So there's a price to be paid either way, isn't there? Right, Kelly?
I'm gonna plug our friend Steve.
Very good.
Human from the Heart.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, I will do it. Okay. Let me mod you. Say something, then I can mod you. And you can
say something.
Well, type something. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Did it work? So Steve
Yep.
Giacottis.
So I am. Hold on. I need to put you as a moderator so your thing can be highlighted.
Oh, cool. Okay. I've always
That was
wanted to
a-
be highlighted.
you are gonna use the hammer. Oh wow! How am I gonna hold on? Give me 1 second. How
Okay.
am I going to handle all this when we have all these different shows on now? Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Okay, so but anyway, he wrote a book and he is basically talking about how he is atheist, secular, and his wife is a Christian, and it's a great subway of how. Okay, so when you can add the link. If you had the link, I don't know if you had the link or not for his stuff.
Oh, for his stuff?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had it, but yeah, but
I don't. But
okay,
hey, Google it, y'all.
yeah, I
Put it
will
on
try to put it
Amazon.
in
You're
the.
gonna
Well,
find it.
Steve's gonna be on next Friday,
That's,
so
yeah.
we're gonna talk about that then.
Another
But
bearded brother. We
he
sometimes get
talks,
accused
yes,
of being brothers.
yes.
So yeah.
You are. We all, yeah. And look at me, I might be a little, I have a little tan,
That's all
but
right.
I'm your
Yeah.
sister. I'm your little sister though. Well, but I'm your older sister by a year,
Oh, good.
give or take, yeah. But reading that book, you find out about how he has a healthy relationship with his wife, and she's a Christian and he's an atheist, and how they get along and how they co-parent and
Mhm.
to the children. It's very important. I do want to mention that I remember when I watched your episode with AJ,
Mhm.
and you talked about your special word. What is do you Was it once a year or is it every couple months? I forgot how that process went through
Oh,
with
the
the
one word
special word.
challenge.
One word
I got you
challenge.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
In
you, thank you,
fact,
thank you.
Steve invited me over to Sunday Assembly Detroit. It was over a year ago now. It was in January of 25. And
Okay.
I spoke there about the one word challenge. So, and I bet our listeners here, you've probably heard a version of this, right? You've heard of select one word for the year or the month or however you want to do it. So on my birthday, which is in November, I always select my word for that following year. I've been doing it for 10 years. In fact, I've got all of them written right here in front of me. So, 2016 and 17, I chose the word peace. Why? Because I was needing it. You might remember politically something happened around then, right? But it actually wasn't necessarily to do with that, but I was just watching all the people I love, being polarized, and me internally too. I was dealing with some stuff mental health wise where I'm like, I'm really need to seek some things that bring me peace. So all year it's not just selecting the word, it's actually acting on it. So that meant to me, I'm going to do 30 days of meditation and see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Right. That also meant I'm going to do more exercise than I have, because I've noticed when I do that, I feel more peaceful.
Okay.
So that's an example. And I'm not going to, I honestly could talk the rest of the time about every single word I've chosen in the last 10 years and what it meant. But I will go to 2019 and 20. I chose the word voice.
Okay.
Which was me using my voice more because I was very hidden and quiet, but also helping others find their voice as well. And so guess what happened that year? I created my first podcast. Yeah, and that was the first podcast. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's no longer it's completed. rechoicepod.com. I'd had 5 seasons of that.
Okay.
And every single episode starts with the letters RE, and the guest picks the word.
Okay.
So it might be like repeat, renew, reignite, reevaluate, reanalyze, etc. But it was what was that moment that you chose different?
Yes.
And that was the whole podcast for 5 seasons were people doing that, and it was very meaningful. And that's how I embraced that word voice that year. And that
amazing.
That just took off. And it was great, and I loved it. But you know, this is a part of this story too for skepticalscott.com, because later in those seasons, I started, you know, tackling the whole choosing out of Christianity topic. And I had a friend named Jim on my show, and his word, I think, was reboot.
Okay.
And we just talked about growing up here in conservative West Michigan and what it feels like to choose a different something.
Yeah, because don't they call your area the Bible Belt of Michigan or something like that?
It's conservative for sure out here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's that whole church on every corner kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, when I put that episode out, it was meaningful to me because that was the first time I actually said the words, "I'm not Christian." Like, it's the first time I put it out there. Can you guess what may have happened after that episode came out, Kelly? Can you just guess?
Got a backlash. Whole lot.
Yep. So
how dare you?
Exactly. And by the way, good and bad. It had the most feedback, period.
Okay.
So negative feedback.
But sometimes negative is good because you still get that.
That's true. I mean, it definitely got a lot of listens. Top 5 episode out of 133, right? For sure, it was a top episode. But it told me something like, this is a needed topic. Like, I want to go into this more, because like the episodes were pretty random in terms of the topics, but when I went to that topic, it really did something. I also had, if you know the name, Dave Warnock.
Yeah, oh yes, definitely, yes.
So I
saw him at NailCon last year, but I did not able to speak to him. He was surrounded by everybody, so I could not literally speak to him, but I did see him there.
I credit him for introducing me to secular people.
Oh wow! Because so you actually met him in person? You actually met him?
Yes. So he was on my show.
Oh wow!
The first one, rechoicepod.com.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Right, and that's, you know, we talked about his book.
Pat on your back for that one.
Oh, it felt great. But anyway, he ended up. This is not a celebrity story or anything like that. I don't want to say it like that. I know. But he did invite me and my wife down. We went to he had something called he doesn't have it anymore, but he had something called the last annual beach trip. Okay. But it was like the third last annual because he has ALS and he never know how many he has left. Yeah, anyway, beautiful moment, meeting a lot of secular people, and for my wife to actually be brave enough to go into that space, because, you know, hi, I'm a Christian surrounded by atheists now, right? Different for her. Anyway, I say all that because you know, to have that was another episode I did that approached that topic, and I did only 1 or 2 other ones that were like on the atheist side of things or the beliefs side of things. And every time got a ton of pushback, but also a ton of, oh my gosh, thank you. I thought I was the only one. And that's when I'm like,
beautiful.
It is. But
especially in the Black community, you especially always, I felt that way. I know it was white atheists, but I was only Black atheist for 7 years.
There is something about finding your people.
Yeah. And I found my people. Thank you for finding them. Thank you.
So as that podcast was wrapping up, and there were, I'm not going to say what I do as a line of work, and there's a reason why I have Skeptical Scott. That's not my real name; it's my middle name.
Yeah, I wanted to dive into why did you choose that name, but finish what you're saying.
So that would be why. And I love the word skeptical too. By the way, I think it's not cynical.
But Scott out of anybody.
Yeah. Scott's my middle name though.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that makes sense why you choose that. Okay, I understand that. Okay.
And, you know, it goes together. Skeptical Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how it sounded. I just thought it was another segue to how you got to it.
But when I decided to do this podcast, you know, one of the things that had happened on that previous one was the pushback people, yes, but also colleagues I work with, they didn't appreciate it at all. Like they were, and that's where I'm like, okay, am I putting myself at risk right now? Like too much.
Yeah,
I put myself too much at risk right now. And when I have future, I'm just going to call them clients.
Okay.
If they look up my first name with my real name, and the first thing that comes up is an atheist show with Detroit Atheist Queen, right? they're not as forgiving as we would hope they would be. And so I might be shooting myself in the foot with the people I work with. So that's where I'm like, okay, well, if I really want to keep digging into this, I'm going to have to find a way to do it. And so that's where this all came to be.
Yes, a lot of times where I know, like in my job, I don't give a damn. But I know I get a lot of backlash. Certain people treat me differently when they realize that I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
But whatever.
That when you say treat different, what do you mean? I mean, I know, but
yeah. Well, so I like to talk about because this was the most recent situation. Well, I had one friend, and me and her used to hang out and everything, and so I don't know how she said this, but she was like, if I can't be a friend with no atheist. If somebody is an atheist, then I can't be their friend. And this was when I first started questioning, or when I first started going into that, and I believe in. And I remember just walking away from her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, wait, why did you leave? What did you just say? I didn't know you was an atheist. See, you never know. Unless I told you, wouldn't I know? But you told me how you felt. So bye.
Yeah. Yeah. True colors came out.
Yeah, true colors came out. You didn't like me. And so we get in, and so we got like Facebook group where you can find out information now, and this is where they give you what's going on. And it's some people that constantly put in prayers in there and memes, God memes. And I'm like, this is not for this. Or somebody
no penalty for them, right?
So I definitely will have on my black non-believer shirts. I have a lot of AXP where it has F God t-shirt that I wear. And I have all that stuff. People be looking like, wait, I didn't know you was atheist. I said, I never told you, so how would you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
you and I talked about this before in another conversation, but last year on, the Atheist Day in March.
Yes.
When I put myself out there.
Yes.
Nothing against Christianity, nothing. It just said, hi, did you know today is Atheist Day? And so an atheist. And to me, that means I'm empathetic.
Yeah.
Future thinking and, optimistic, like just positive statement, nothing against anybody, and boom, black.
And I think
who knew we couldn't connect over universal values like that?
Yeah. Because I end up wearing my this is what atheist looks like. So my shirt says simple.
I like that. I need one of those.
Yeah,
I need that.
Yeah. This is what, and so they was like, what? And it was like,
I got to give my wife some credit too. I think this is the first time I'm going to say this. If there was such a thing as a humanist Christian, it's her. Right?
Yeah.
Because she, and I don't remember who said this. It's been kind of going around the last couple months, but we don't have, maybe it was Andrew Seidel. We don't have to have the same beliefs to connect on values. And I think that's what it's going to take for the future of our country and everything, is that what are some universal values that we can agree on? Things like, even empathy is controversial now, which just blows my mind, right? How can empathy be seen anyway? But, what are those values? That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to take it back this recently. And I remember being in the church and having worries and struggles, being a mother, had to leave an abusive relationship, struggling to make ends meet and asking my church for help, and they could not do it. They would tell me, pray about it, or something of that nature. And just a couple days ago, for an interview, we did a fundraiser for Helen.
Mm-hmm.
And we got together and got her some money. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We heathens. And we got together to help another heathen. We can need help. $5, $10, whatever we had to do. But when I was in church, no. Or they would look up something like, well, you are short on your tithes, or in order for you to receive help, you must go to this service. Though I do say, okay, at least you helping. But when I did my soup kitchen, people, no, I didn't make them go to service.
Yeah. Hey, you're bringing something up that I haven't thought of for years. We were with a family. This was when we were at our other church, and it was around the holidays, and we're putting these bags together because you know how it is in Michigan in the winter.
Yeah.
And in the bags were like self-care items and mittens and things that are going to be really helpful when you are passing the person with the sign, right? It says, I need help. And, people feel different ways about handing out money and all that stuff. But the idea is that we're going to have these bags that are going to really be helpful no matter what. Right. But one of the people in our group that was putting the bags together insisted on putting some paraphernalia in there of Bible scriptures and all of that. And I just remember pushing back going, do we really need to make this about our church? Like, do we really hey, we just want to make sure we advertise to you right now.
Yeah,
while we're helping you, there's an advertisement, there's advice in the form of Bible verses. And I'm just like, can we not put that? And she's like, I just don't think it's a big deal. I'm like, well, if it's not a big deal, let's take them out. And obviously she kept them in, but I'm like,
wow.
If we really want to help, do we have to believe the same to help? I don't know. Kelly, maybe it's like a pet peeve of mine or something. I don't know.
No, you're right. And I can remember like years ago, I can say they say my life is a testimony. I don't really talk about it, but if I talk, I'm writing a book, and I'm not even going to talk about everything aspect because I don't want to out some people with some of the things I want to talk about.
Understood. Yeah.
But anyway, so I went through a time in which me and my young children, I lost my job, and I did have to go. I was homeless. I'm living in shelters and stuff like that temporarily. And one of the things, in order to stay in one of these shelters, you must go to the service they had.
Exactly.
In order for you to stay there, you must have went to the mandate. You must have went mandate to go to the service. And you also, if they found out that you had some kind of substance, alcohol, you must go to AA, mandatory, for them to help you out. Or
and,
they would, or
and it wasn't.
Kick you
was
out.
it? And was that version of AA secular?
None of it ever is.
Right.
But at the time,
they say higher power,
I was
right?
religious though.
But I hear what you're saying. It's like even to get help, you need to have a ticket.
Yeah.
Not just to get into heaven, but a ticket to get some help. Help.
Now, this is something that I should have talked about earlier.
Okay.
In the segue, because we.
Are you talking about our interview earlier?
Well, no, we're not going to discuss that.
Oh, okay.
But discuss that.
I was going to say I can always just rip it right from here and put it on there, but go ahead.
Yeah, you are the editor, not me. I just talk.
I'm more. Yeah, of a mic. I'm the editor. I don't do like the show live, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, must have been a couple years ago. You ended up in a meeting in Troy because you ended up meeting Steve and everything. And I maybe not long, maybe a year being affiliate leader, and just started hanging around the Michigan Atheist, getting a feel of everything. And I know Steve kind of was like, you're going to be on his show. Who thought it took us 2 years to get where we're at now, but here we are.
And Steve's just such a cheerleader, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, whatever you're doing, he's gonna try to help.
Yeah.
But that's where you and I met, Kelly, and
Yeah. So we know each other in person. We met in person.
We do. But my eyes were wide open that day because I'm like, okay, I'm becoming secular now. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you were saying that during your interview was that you had not really been around a lot of secular.
I'll say a little bit, but I always So I mentioned Dave Warnock earlier. Like
Yeah.
I would say my first experience of really feeling it was being around all those people that were around Dave
Okay.
for this event. You know, it was
Okay.
just so
Okay.
yeah.
That's good.
And it was it was connecting through people through the podcast and all of that. But as far as me, like, all right, I'm going to do something in my area and I'm going to like go meet people here. That was the first time. That was like, okay, let's go see what's the Sunday Assembly Detroit thing, right? What's this, this group that's meeting at the International House of Pancakes? What are they talking about? Like all of that. That was the first time doing that, was meeting you, Kelly, and that crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a nice conversation and everything. I don't know what we talked about, but I know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, remember. Yeah, but there was a lot of different stuff that we talked about.
There's a good 25 people there. I know that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And when I went, and I'll eat no matter what, I always went in a back corner. And then, wait, Steve was like, "What are you doing back there for, Kelly?
Yeah, get over here. Yeah,
get over here." Because I hadn't really been to that many of them meetings, and I always picked the corner in the corner by myself. And of course, no, you must come sit with us. Just speak right here. And that's how I got introduced with you. So yeah, we're gonna plug some things.
Yeah, sure.
This is your time to shine. I'm gonna put you, which I should be doing this more, making you big, and I'll come in and you can talk about your next podcast and what all you got going on in the near future.
Happy to do it. You know, hey y'all. So the current podcast I do, it's in its third season, skepticalscott.com. And this really is the topic that Kelly and I have been talking about here is community. So season 3, I'm definitely leaning into that. The help, not just me connecting with people, because I feel like that's been happening, but I want to help people connect with each other as well. And that's why I love being able to do shows like this. I feel like I'm finally embracing what it means to be a secular activist. I never considered myself that until somebody called me that recently. I'm like, really? Me? I'm a secular activist just by talking to people? Well, how about that? Right. So skepticalscott.com. It's on the first and third Friday of every month. And if anybody would ever want to be on it to share a part of your, what I call questimony, reach me at heyskepticalscott.com. So I'll just drop that in the chat. heyskepticalscott@gmail.com, I should say. In fact, I remember Steve Chikatis. I remember him reaching out, and that's how we originally got connected. And now we're good friends. Here's a couple of things that are on this season so far. One was becoming the mayor of Hell, Michigan. Who doesn't want to be the mayor? I can actually put that on my resume now. I'm the former mayor of Hell. And so that was kind of a live show. That was neat. On one of my favorite episodes from last season, I don't know if you've ever heard of these guys named, they're on TikTok. Prez. Oh shoot, I'm forgetting his first name now. But they put Bible verses to Christian sounding songs because they were both former youth, like music people for the church. And so now they are taking these Bible verses and singing. It sounds like it could be in a church, but they're actually talking about, what happens to the woman who touches a guy's junk and gets her hands chopped off, because it says it in the Bible, but it sounds so meaningful, So it's a good show that is a mix of some serious stuff, but also some funny stuff. And I just love doing it. So that's a little bit about my podcast. I would love for you to check it out. Skepticalscott.com is the easiest way to go to it as far as to see. There's a LinkTree there that brings you to every other link for that show, and you can see who's been on it. My first podcast is still live. You can still find it. And that was a very popular podcast, had well over 25,000 listens. But this current podcast, it's a little harder to share. And I bet you understand why. You know, when you share a safe podcast, you don't pay a penalty. But if you share a podcast that has anything attached to atheism or skepticism, there is a public social price to pay for that. It's hard to share a show like that, isn't it? So share it if you feel like you can share that show, if you know what I'm saying. I'm wondering where Kelly went.
I am here. I was giving you the spotlight.
That was a spotlight. I'm like, is this a spotlight or an abandonment? I don't know. Hey, that was good. That was good. Okay, I get it. I was hoping you were still hearing that.
Talking about all your information.
There wasn't
and
any tech issues.
I want to start doing that more when they start talking about. But I be forgetting, and I was like, let me put them in the spotlight.
Was that all right? Was that all right? I just kind of talked off the cuff there. Yeah,
that was perfect. That was perfect. Now, yeah, and it's so, and I understand, and you're not the only one because there's several people that have to. Like I talked about it with the Black non-believers when I first went, the women of color, where it was some women on there that had to be silent, and they were speaking with us like secretly on video, because even if their husband found out, they could be put to death for not believing in God, you know. And so I'm lucky that I don't have, and I had to be silent myself because of the judgment, not because I put to death, but because of what everybody felt about me. But now I don't really care. But it's not anything that'll, like if you're like a young college student, it's hard because your family supported you. So you gotta do, right. You gotta, what they say, you got your hand, mama said, got your hand in the lion's mouth, you gotta ease your way out.
Hey, so Kelly, have you ever heard of something called the golden handcuffs?
No, but explain that. I maybe have, but I may have heard in another
The first time I heard about it, it was more about somebody who feels like they can't leave their job because if they lose their job, then they lose all the benefits that come with it. And I don't mean just money. I mean like health insurance and retirement and all that kind of stuff. So the golden handcuffs are like, I can't leave because I'm shackled because of what I would lose.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the way it attaches here is that some people, you know, if you're being supported by your family, or let's even say you may even be able to have a job because of the family relationship. But if you come out atheist, not only do you lose the potential of your family member relationship, but the future and money and help. And so I see it as golden handcuffs there too.
Yeah, because it was really funny, but it was sad that I talking to somebody and they were part of the LGBTQ community, and also an atheist, and I asked them, what did your family consider worse, being an atheist or being part of the rainbow community? And they said being an atheist.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, it kind of.
Which both
I guess I feel for anybody marginalized
one.
For that reason, you know.
Both is fine. I consider myself part of the community. I consider myself queer myself. So, and I was probably one of the hardest ones to get over. And not that my family wasn't accepting, but it was just me.
Yeah. And some of it is self-imposed, right?
Yeah, because of what you hear,
the fear of what
you
could
going straight
happen,
to hell,
what might happen. Yeah,
you going straight to hell for having. If you even have a lust thought in your mind, you're going to hell. You don't even got to act out on it. So what you thinking? That's hell bound.
So yeah, why do we do this? I'm all about like, can we get some freedom for people? Can we have people be able, back to that one word challenge?
Yeah.
Not just using my voice, but helping others discover theirs. It's the same here. I want people to discover clarity, you know, discover what it means to actually not worry anymore. It kind of wraps in with the mental health too.
Yeah.
I felt like barriers were removed when I dropped the supernatural so that I could actually get some real help.
I think now with me, being open now, I got connected because I went to the Arkham County protest. I don't think if I went there, I might not be where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And my first show was the Damn Show, which relatively I'm on the women's show now on Mondays. That's funny how everything goes around. But I opened up doing Helen's show that had mental health, and now I'm open about it. And you find out people say I have mental health too. They're open
Yeah.
about it, and you're like, I'm not the only one.
Isn't that great?
And if it feels good, you can talk to somebody and you can relate, because many times in the religious thing, people kept stuff silent and hidden when they deal
So
with
yeah,
the issues and stuff that was taboo, as they like to say. I want to again thank you for coming on. Now, I want to do some plugging for myself
do it.
before we end. Today, 4 p.m., I will be on Hive Side channel, and we are going to deep dive towards talking about haunted plantations. She's so science, so we're going to deep dive into that, talking about Lake Lanier and a few of the plantations that they consider haunted. So that's today at 4 o'clock, Hive Side channel. I'm going to post links on Facebook and all the other kind of stuff. Then, of course, Monday is always Java and Jugs on the Damn Network, 9 a.m. to 11 Eastern Standard Time. And then I only have one interview, I have two interviews, but it will be Friday. Steve Takaitis, he will be on my show, 12:30 Eastern Standard on Friday. And then Cynthia McDonald will be on my show Saturday, 11 a.m. So those are just the things going on in a couple of days. I have other stuff later on in the week.
You got
but
cool people coming on. That's awesome.
yes.
And you know
Me and
what,
Cynthia,
Steve, you're probably listening right now, or you
Yes.
will.
Yes.
Steve, me, and you, Kelly, we got to go grab some lunch in Detroit, because that's like
Yes.
that's like the middle ground for us. I'm in Grand Rapids, he's
Yes.
in Windsor. I guess it's not quite middle ground, but I'll make that drive. Heck yeah, I will.
Yeah, but we talked about us going maybe doing the Grand Rapids Pride this year, so maybe we can all go to your
GR
neck of the
Pride,
wood
man.
and go hang out with you and your wife and stuff.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we can make that work, But yeah, back to Steve. Um, got us connected. Reached out to me, got me connected with Anthony as well. I met him through Anthony, through President. That's why I met him through him too as well. So he's just a networker.
He
Thank you,
is.
Steve, for what you do. But that's what I have going on. Later on in the month, I am gonna be on Truth Wanted on the ACA shows.
Awesome.
And I don't know how I made that either, but here I am. But again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, I thank you for coming on. This has been 2 years in the making of us connecting together and doing our podcast together. And hopefully I'll see everybody 4 o'clock today on Hopside Bumblebee's channel. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. And until next time, hope you have a great day.
Can I sign off with my
You sure can. Go ahead.
I always say it on mine.
Go ahead.
Drop the supernatural, embrace the rational, believe in as many true things as possible. And Kelly, you the truth.
You the truth. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride.
I love